Hello, students. Today we'll start with a new chapter, that is electrostatic potential and capacitance. So, in the previous chapter, we have learned about the electric charges and interaction between them. We also understood how the concept of electric field explains the mechanism involved in the electric force which one charge object exerts on the other at a distance. We also learned about the Gauss law and its applications. So, in this unit, we shall first study how electric field around a charge can also be represented by a scalar quantity called the electric or electrostatic potential. We should also understand the relationship between electric field and electric potential. Besides this, we shall learn about capacitors, their combinations, and the charge and energy stored in them. So, let's get started with the first concept, that is potential difference. So, electric potential difference. So, earlier in 11th class we have studied about the potential and potential difference. So, in class 11th, what is the potential at a point? So, potential at a point is described as the work done on the body, that is stored as the potential energy of the body when we change its configuration or when we change its position. Just like suppose when an object is placed at ground, we say that the potential of the object at ground is 0. Okay, so when we try to move the object against the gravity, or when we try to lift that object above the ground, what happens? We have to apply a force, and that force is external force. Any agent is there, and that agent is applying force on that object, and due to that force the object is raised to a certain height, and when that object is raised to a certain height, it attains potential energy. So in the similar way, electric potential difference can also be explained. So electric potential difference means, suppose there is one positive test charge. What is a test charge? Test charge is a very small charge which has very negligible field around it. Okay, so when suppose a test charge q0 is kept at position B and we wish to move it to position A, so the test charge will not move on its own. So what we'll have to do, we'll have to do some work, and this work is done by certain external agency or agent. So this work done by external agent to move a positive test charge from one point, that is B, to other point, that is A, keeping it in equilibrium. Now keeping it in equilibrium, what does it mean? Keeping it in equilibrium means that the charge should be moved so slowly towards A that it does not experiences any acceleration. It means that there is no change in the speed. Okay, so while moving this test charge from from B to A, we have to move it so slowly that there is no change in the speed or there is no net acceleration faced by this charge q0. Okay, so what is the potential difference? Now we have moved particle from, sorry, the test charge from B to A. So potential difference is final position minus initial. So potential is denoted by V. So VA is final potential and VB is initial potential. So it is equal to work done by external agent per unit charge in moving from B to A. Now we'll discuss about the unit. So unit will be, unit of work done is joule and unit of charge is coulomb. So it is joule per coulomb, or we can write it as Newton meter per coulomb. Okay, now it should be kept in mind very clearly that there should be no net acceleration suffered by this test charge. Okay, and this electric potential difference, it is a scalar quantity, right? So what is electric potential difference? It is the work done by external agent to move a test positive charge from one point to another, keeping the charge in equilibrium, right? Now I will discuss about electric potential. So electric potential is, it is the amount of work done by external force in moving a positive charge without acceleration from infinity to the point in the electrostatic field. Suppose there is one test charge particle which is kept at infinity. Okay, so we wish to bring that test charge particle to a position, suppose A. Suppose test charge particle is at infinity and we wish to bring that particle at A. So what we'll have to do? We'll have to do some work on this test charge particle to bring it at A. So this work done is stored in this charge as a potential. Okay, so we assume, because we don't know what is the potential at infinity, so we assume that the potential at infinity is 0. Okay, and so what will happen? Earlier we have seen about electric potential difference, that is Va minus Vb is work done external upon Q0 in moving it from B to A. So here we are moving from infinity to A, and we have kept that we have assumed that the potential at infinity is 0. So Vb will come out to be 0 in this expression. So Va will be equal to W external upon Q0 in moving from infinity to A. So this is what is electrostatic potential. It is also a scalar quantity. Here are some important points regarding the electric potential and potential difference. First point is that work done by external agent should be considered. We should not consider the work done by the source charge or the field. We should always consider about the work done by the external agent, and this work done is against the electric field in which the charge is placed or when the charge moves in the electric field. So this work done is against the electric field. And the next point is the work done by the external agent is path independent. So this work done by the external agent is path independent. Now why? The reason is the electrostatic force which is due to the electric field, it is conservative in nature, so it does not depend upon the path by which the charge is moving, the path on which the charge is moving. So what happens when we apply external force to move that particular charge against the field? So what happens? We have to keep that charge in equilibrium. So we have to give the similar amount of force opposite to the electric field to keep that charge in equilibrium. So this external work done also comes out to be conservative. Okay, it also comes out to be path independent. So what happens in a round trip? Suppose a charge is moved from A to B by first path. Suppose this is the second path and this is the third path. So what happens? all these three paths, the work done will remain same. Work done by external agent will remain same, or it will remain conserved. Or when this cycle is complete, suppose the charge is moving from A to B, then from B to A, suppose it is moving like this. So what will happen if it moves like this? A to B, then B to A to B by first path and B to A by third path. So what will happen? This will complete a trip or a round trip, so the work done will be 0, right? Next point is the test charge should be very small as it should have no field. This earlier also we have discussed that the test charge should be very small and it should have no field. Next is electric potential due to a point charge q. So formula for this, suppose there is a charge q and we wish to find out the electric potential at P due to this point charge q, and this P is at distance r. So formula for calculating the potential difference, potential at P will be V equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r. This is the formula. Now how we will derive this formula? Let us see. Now for the derivation of this, consider a test charge q0 at infinity, right? This is infinity. This is a test charge and this is the point charge q, right? And this is point P, which is located at distance r from this point charge. Okay, it is at distance r and we wish to find out potential at P. So for derivation or for finding out the potential at P, we'll first have to do some assumptions. So we are considering there is a test charge q0 at infinity, right? So if we bring this test charge at P, q0, this test charge at P, so what will happen? We can calculate the potential at P. Why? How we can calculate? Here work done to bring this test charge at P from infinity. It is external. We'll have to do some external work done because the charge will not come by itself, right? So what will be the potential difference between these 2 points? This is final and this is initial. This is the initial position of q0 where the charge is at infinity and we have to bring it at P. So you can see that potential difference will be Vp minus V infinity, that is external work done on test charge q0 for moving it from infinity to P, right? But we have already assumed when we were studying about electric potential that potential at infinity is 0. So what will be the potential at P? The potential at P will be work external for moving it from infinity to P upon q0. So we know that the work done by external agent is against the electric force. Here you can clearly see, suppose this is positive charge, right? This is also small positive test charge. So when we wish to move this test charge from infinity to point P, what we are doing, we are moving a positive charge toward a positive charge. So this field due to this q charge will repel this charge. So what will have to do when we have to move it towards P? So what will happen? We have to overcome this force of repulsion, right? So this work done by external agent is against the electric force and charge should be moved very slowly. But to calculate the force at infinity, it is not possible. We cannot calculate force over here, what force is acting on it, how much amount of force is acting on it. It is not possible, right? Because if we wish to calculate infinity plus infinity will be infinity, infinity minus infinity is infinity. So we cannot calculate the force at infinity. So what we will have to do next? So we will consider that the charge is moved from P to infinity and calculate the work external for moving the charge from P to infinity, right? Now again you will say that since this field is positive and suppose a test charge q0 is kept over here, so it will suffer repulsion and it will move to infinity. But no, we have to keep this test charge particle at P and we have to move this test charge particle P to infinity very slowly. It should be kept in equilibrium, so move without any acceleration. But if it is kept as it is without any external force, so what will happen? It will instantly move towards infinity due to the repulsive force of due to the field of this charge particle. Okay. So what we will do here, so since work done in the cyclic process for moving a charge from A to B and then moving it from B to A, it is opposite. So we can use this concept that work done, external work done for moving the test charge particle from infinity to P will be opposite to the work done by external agent for moving it from P to infinity, because force is conservative here, external force is conservative, right? So let us see here. So this is the point charge Q, and what we have done, we have placed charge Q0 test charge at P, right, and this P is at distance R, and here is the infinity, right, and we will apply some external force to move this test charge from this position P to infinity. So what will be the F external? So we have to move this test charge very slowly, we have to keep this test charge in equilibrium. It cannot move suddenly to infinity due to the field of due to the effect of field of this Q charge, which is the point charge. Okay, so F external will be equal to F electric field. Okay, so as to keep this charge in equilibrium, so this force will be equal to K Q Q0 upon R square by Coulomb's law, right. So but the net force on Q0 is 0. Net force acting on this charge is 0. Work done is equals to force into displacement for constant force, when the force is constant. But here you can see this force external, which is also equal to in magnitude to force offered by the electric field, is inversely proportional to R square. So what will happen, as this distance will increase, this force will decrease. Okay, so for calculating the work done by variable force, you have studied in 11th class the formula for that. So work done is integration of F dot dr. Dr is the displacement, F is the external force, and what we are doing, we are moving this particle from test charge from P to infinity. So integrating it from P to infinity, F external dr, right. At P the distance is R, at P the distance is R. So this is a scalar product, so we can write it as, what is F external? F external is the value this KQ0 upon R square. So here I have kept this KQ0 upon R square, integrating here at P. At P, what is the distance? At P you can see at P the distance is R from this point source charge. Okay, so we are integrating it from R to infinity, right, R to infinity, KQ0 Q0 upon R square dr cos 180 degree. The angle between this force external, angle between the external force and this force due to this charge is 180 degree. Okay, they are making an angle of 180, cos 180 will write down. So it is KQ0 dr cos 180 degree upon R square. Cos 180 is -1. Okay, so these are the these values K, Q and Q0, they have constant value. So keeping it out of the integration, R to infinity 1 upon R square dr, 1 upon R square dr integration is -1 upon R right? So this comes out to be minus k q q0 within the bracket minus 1 upon r, limits are r to infinity. So now you can see that the work done moving from p to infinity is minus k q q0, putting down the limits. So upper limit is infinity, so minus 1 upon infinity minus the lower limit is 1 r, so minus 1 upon r. This comes out to be 1 upon infinity is 0, this is minus plus minus is plus, so minus k q0 into 1 upon r. So work done in moving from p to infinity is minus k q q0 upon r. So we have already assumed that we are moving the test charge from p to infinity. Now we can easily find out the work done from infinity to p. It will be negative in magnitude only. So work done from infinity to p will be minus of work done from p to infinity. Put the value minus of minus kq upon q0, sorry, kq q0 upon r, right? So work done from infinity to p will be kq q0 upon r. This is the work done we have calculated, right? Now what we can do, we have to find out the potential at point p. So potential at point p is what? It is the external work done in moving the test charge particle test charge from infinity to p, right, per unit charge. So this is the work done, k q q0 upon r, okay, divided by q0. q0 they will cancel out each other. So what will be the potential at p? It will be kq upon r. So this is the potential at point, potential due to a point charge, okay. Next is electric potential due to a group of point charges, right? So it is very easy because electric potential is a scalar quantity, it is not a vector, so it does not makes very lot of means lot of calculations for finding out electric potential. It will be a simple addition of all the potential. So let us consider, look here. So there is one charge, point charge q1, another q2, and third is minus q3, which are at distances r1 from p, q2 is r2 from p, and q3 is at a distance r3 from p, right? So potential at p, so potential at p due to these charges q1, q2 and q3, these are point charges, will be the scalar sum. So here you can see it potential due to q1 at p will be what? K q1 upon r1, k q1 upon r1, plus potential due to q2, potential due to q2 will be k q2 upon r2. And what will be potential due to point charge minus q3? We have to put the sign of the charge particle or the charge we are taking. So here it is minus k q3 upon r3, right? So this is how we can calculate the electric potential due to a group of point charges. So in general equation, how we can write a general equation, we can write V is equals to 1 of k. K is what? K is nothing, k is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So V is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, summation over of summing from I equals to 1 to n qi upon ri. This is the general equation for the electric potential due to a group of point charges.